Hey guys, MICHAELJOSH here, back with another video. Now, usually on this channel, my job is to help you find the right device to match your needs. But today, I'm really excited because what I have here is a device that I'm 100% sure is right for me. I've waited for almost a year, so let's waste no more time. Open up this box and check out the new M1 Pro powered MacBook Pro. Ooh. There you go. Let's remove this box. I forgot what I ordered. I have the 14-inch MacBook Pro, 16 gigabytes of unified memory, and a terabyte of storage. And I ordered the space gray model. All right, let's peel off this plastic. As always, just look for the arrows and pull. All right, moment of truth. There it is. You can see the Apple logo. All right, it's wrapped in paper this time. Just pull on this tab to lift it up. We'll take a look at it later, but let's check out what else is in the box first. Designed by Apple in California. And inside, quick startup guide, some paperwork. Ooh, look at that. I don't think I've ever seen this before. Black stickers. Pretty cool. All right, usually this is the part that I gloss over, but we have a completely new power adapter. And remember, MagSafe is back, so let's check it out. There you go, also wrapped in paper. Let's peel it off. This one looks familiar. It's a typical power adapter, which delivers 96 watts of power, and on the other end, a USB-C port. But the exciting part is this end, this contraption over here. Notice the cable is now braided for even more durability. On one side, you have a USB-C port that connects to the adapter, and on the other, the return of MagSafe 3.0. That wasn't very sophisticated of me, but let's take another look. There you go, USB-C and the return of MagSafe. All right, let's get this out of the way, because I really want to take a look at this new laptop. Ooh, look. The MacBook Pro logo is now etched into the bottom of the device. All right, moment of silence, please. Guys, it looks so pretty. Look. So first impressions, it feels thicker and heavier and kind of looks different from the last generation MacBook Pro. It's almost even reminiscent of the PowerBooks from many years ago. I love the rounded corners. They're so much softer, and look at all those ports. We'll show you the complete rundown of ports along with some beauty shots later, but first let me just open up the device so that I can set it up.
Six hours later.
All right, we're back. As you can see, it's already dark, but the good news is I've moved into my brand new MacBook Pro, and I'm really excited, guys, because I've been a Mac user for about 15 years now, and for most of it, apart from a few years where I dabbled with the MacBook Air, I have been primarily a Pro laptop user. I started with the PowerBook Pro, and I have graduated all the way up to the 16-inch MacBook Pro. But over the last year or so, I've been using my M1 MacBook Air. finally, like I said earlier, the wait is over and the new MacBook Pro that's powered by the M1 Pro chip is here. And while I would love to give you a review, I'm working on about 5 reviews right now, and I really want to be able to spend more time with the device to be able to really give you some insights to let you know if it's worth buying. This new MacBook Pro is a lot of money, and I want to make sure that you make the right buying decisions. So the review will have to wait, but for now, I'd love to talk you through some of my first impressions. Shall we? Let's start with the basics. Design. This is the new 14-inch MacBook Pro. This was the old 13-inch MacBook Pro. Obviously, it's going to be larger, but not that large. In fact, if we put one on top of the other, you'll notice that the size difference isn't that big. The new MacBook Pro is thicker, however. While the old one felt almost as thin as the MacBook Air, this one is definitely chunkier. I think my favorite design feature, however, is how rounded these sides are. If you run your fingers on the top part, you'll notice how soft, whereas on older machines, it was sharp. The feet, too, are elevated ever so slightly, so much so that when you put it on a table, you can actually peek through the gap underneath. Of course, that helps for better heat dissipation. If you'll notice too, on the back side of the older MacBook Pros, there were 2 vents off to the sides. Now the vents run across the entire back side of the machine. Of course, one of the benefits of this extra heft is that you now have space for full-size ports, whereas on the previous machine, where you were limited to anywhere between 2 to 4 Thunderbolt ports, on this 14-inch MacBook Pro, apart from Thunderbolt 4 ports, you also have a full-size HDMI port. And something I, as a creator, have been asking for, the return of the SD card slot on one side of the device, and on the other, also making a comeback, is MagSafe, the old system that protected your Mac just in case someone tripped on your cable. With MagSafe 3, however, one end of the cable is USB-C and it plugs into the adapter, while the other end is the magnetic part. It latches on like so and pops off easily like this. One of the other benefits of MagSafe is faster charging. The first time we've seen it on an Apple computer. Apple is promising a 50% charge in 30 minutes. By the way, for those wondering if you can also use your old USB-C cable to charge the device, the answer is yes. You can plug it on either side. See, it works here, as well as here on the other side. Speaking of slim bezels, it's reduced down here as well, back where the MacBook Pro logo used to be. Another change is the keyboard. When you open it up, notice it's all black. Now, I don't know how I feel about it. The older keyboard had bits of silver or white shining through, and because this one is all black, I don't know if it's going to be easy to determine where a key begins or ends, if that makes sense. Notice the shape too of the keyboard is very similar, if not exact, to the keyboard of the M1 iMac. And noticeably missing is the touch bar, which might be gone for good. Instead, Apple is replacing it with a full row of physical function keys, and on the very end, Touch ID. And last but not the least, we're gonna bring the camera around so that we can take a look at this new notch. Okay, I'm sure just like me, you want to know how the notch behaves. So right now, as you can see, the menu bar kind of wraps around the notch. You have the menu items up here, as well as your different shortcuts and whatnot over here. The cursor will kind of disappear underneath the notch if you kind of scroll it through from one side to the other. But what's interesting is you'll notice even with the wallpaper, it's a solid pink right now. So it's not really part of the wallpaper. This area over here is still 16:10, which is the normal aspect ratio of your older MacBook Pros. All of this screen up top is just extra. So let's see what happens when we launch Safari. Notice Safari hits the edge of the menu bar, and what happens when we go full screen? There, the menu bar disappears and that extra screen real estate just goes black. I guess what's important to note is what you're getting is extra screen real estate for the menu bar. On previous Macs, the menu bar ate into some of that screen real estate. Now, the menu bar has dedicated space of its own, and as a result, the space between the text on top and on the bottom are actually even larger. And if you're worried that it will affect any of your other apps, it won't. Instead, what it enables is for the bezels on all four sides to get even smaller. Tucked away in the middle of the notch is a new 1080p FaceTime camera, and I know what some of you are thinking. With all that space, they should have just built Face ID into the Mac, and I sort of agree. By the way, if you haven't already, you can now upgrade to macOS Monterey, which also runs on this new MacBook Pro out of the box. Monterey comes with two big security features, including iCloud Private Relay and Hide My Email. But for even more security, especially while on the go, check out this video's sponsor, NordVPN. Now that we can travel again, it's back to public Wi-Fi we go. And while on one, your data can be easily compromised. For my own peace of mind, I've been using NordVPN to protect my portable Mac. It safeguards my personal info and work files, encrypts my connection, and keeps my browsing history private. As a journalist, I also love the double VPN feature. With it, my data is protected with an extra level of encryption, because traffic is routed through 2 VPN servers instead of just 1. To enable the feature, just open the NordVPN app, find Specialty Servers, double-click Double VPN, and that's it. NordVPN encrypts all of my traffic without slowing down streaming speeds. And speaking of streaming, even if I'm just kicking back and chilling, NordVPN has my back on down days too. With over 5,000 servers in 60 countries, it allows me to virtually visit another country so that I can watch certain shows or movies that are geo-locked, i.e. available elsewhere, but not here. Just like the latest season of RuPaul's Drag Race UK on BBC's iPlayer, or what about Sherlock? I can watch it this way too. It's easy to use, just click on the NordVPN app, open the map, select a location, and voila, I'm connected. Apart from macOS, NordVPN is also available on iOS, Windows, Android, Linux, and even Android TV. Just head over to nordvpn.com/GadgetMatch and click Grab the Deal to subscribe to a 2-year plan. You'll also get an additional 1 month free and a huge discount. Again, that's nordvpn.com/GadgetMatch. We'll put the link down below.
24 hours later.
So it's been more than 24 hours after filming my unboxing, and before we end, I wanted to come back on here to give you some of my first impressions after one full day of using the new 14-inch M1 Pro powered MacBook Pro. Last night, I got right to work and edited a big chunk of this video, the one that you're watching, on this new machine. Normally we edit in proxies, but I wanted to see if this machine could handle our original 4K footage, and it took it like a champ. Transcoding was also faster than what I'm used to. And I did all of this on battery power, which is great news if you're always on the go and need full performance power but can't be near a power outlet. I don't have any test results to show you right now, but I'll definitely get them to you when I publish my review. But for now, here are my notes on battery drain. I started editing at 10:30 p.m. and finished way past 1. And my battery went from 100% to 35% in 3 hours. That's all while editing a 4K project on Final Cut Pro, as well as powering 2 external solid-state drives. The screen is great. I don't mind the notch at all. I don't know if this video does it justice, but this new ProMotion display is gorgeous. It also has that smooth 120Hz scrolling. So for example, I was perusing the news app and everything felt buttery smooth. Now, if you're a video editor and want to limit the refresh rate, you can go into Settings, Displays, and change the refresh rate to match your project. Prior to moving into this new MacBook Pro, I was using the M1 powered iMac. I still do, but of course I want and need all this power that it offers, so it's back to Dongle Life again. Thankfully, it's not as bad as it used to be. I love how many ports I have access to. However, I wish that Apple just updated the power brick like it did on the M1 iMac, the one with the built-in Ethernet port. That way, I could free up one extra Thunderbolt port that's currently being used by my Ethernet adapter. I also did a bit of emails and script writing this morning on this machine. The Magic Keyboard feels great. Apart from the new look, it's the same scissor switch mechanism found on most recent Mac laptops. It feels really good to type on, nice and crunchy as I like to refer to it, with that 1 millimeter of travel. I also like this new Touch ID button better. I don't know if you can see it, but it has a metallic ring around it, which is supposed to aid in touch recognition. Now, this might be a hugely unpopular opinion, but I kind of really liked the touch bar on previous MacBook Pros. But the return of physical keys is welcome too. A few more notes. Notice that the escape key is wider. There are also now dedicated buttons for Spotlight, dictation, and Do Not Disturb. And in case you're wondering, how do I then adjust the brightness of my backlit keyboard? Don't worry, you can do all of that from Control Center. There's still a lot that I want to test out on my new 14-inch MacBook Pro. I'm also getting a 16-inch MacBook Pro powered by the M1 Max chip that should even be more powerful. Those tests and many others like it will come in my review video. So you still have time. If you have any questions, just leave them down in the comments section below. And while you're at it, subscribe to this YouTube channel and hit that bell icon so that as soon as we publish, you'll be the first to know. Follow me on social media for all the behind the scenes fun stuff. And as always, make GadgetMatch.com your daily habit. Until the next video, I'm MICHAELJOSH. Thanks for dropping by.